Gentlemen, growing up watching the sport, what made you want to become a Formula One driver? And Romain, if we could start with you, please.
Yeah, good afternoon. I started watching with my dad a long time ago. And it was the time of the Ayrton Senna versus Alain Prost fight. And it was pretty exciting to watch. And my dad always was passionate about cars. So one day he brought me to a racetrack, not a Formula One race. And I saw the cars going and I thought, you know what, that's what I would like to do. And then eventually I was lucky in 1998 to come to Monaco Grand Prix to watch the Thursday practice. And I saw the car and I heard the noise of the engine and just was something very, very unique and special. Good memory of my life. And I remember going to the toilets and DC was there. And he said, "Oh, you go first, son." Still call me son by then. And I was like, no, you go. And pretty amazing.
Thank you, Romain. Sergio?
Yeah, for me, similar story. I remember the first race I watched with my dad was in '94 actually when Ayrton had his accident. That was the first race I ever saw. So it was quite a shock moment, more for my dad than for me. At the time, I didn't understood well what's happening. Obviously, from Mexico, Formula One is not very big, so it always seemed too far, like too difficult. It's been a while since we had a driver, so the history back home wasn't big. But as a family, we always loved the sport, and I always wanted to become a Formula One driver. So at a very young age, I went to Europe to fight for it. I remember watching so many races, always waking up very early in the morning, because in Mexico the races are very early, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. So always on a weekend when you don't want to wake up early, I had to watch Formula One, and I actually remember watching Kimi back then at a very young age too.
Yeah, I think, I don't know which year it was, but long time ago, 80s, that's for sure. So some, I think the first memories, somewhere when Keke was racing, when he blew up his tire or something, and I think in Adelaide or something, with a long straight, maybe last races that he did. So anyhow, obviously was cheering for the Finnish guys, and but I didn't think that maybe you dream when you're a kid, but once we start doing go-karts and everything, I didn't really believe that it's going to happen, because obviously so you need a certain amount of money to get from go-karts to racing, and maybe I believed a bit more when I got my managers helping, and then actually got to racing Formula cars, and then obviously it went very quickly, but I guess it was a dream, but not very realistic on that point. But it went fast once it started to go then.
My hero was Michael Schumacher, so that was kind of the guy that I always looked up to. I was Ferrari mad, actually, even if I should say that or not, I don't know. But I loved Schumacher, and I think I was about 6, so a little bit like Romain. I was at Silverstone, and I had like some competition. It was kind of like you had to fill out the top 3 drivers that you thought would win the race, or finish in that order. So I just put my 3 favorite drivers in order. So I just put Michael, Rubens, and Montoya maybe. And for some reason at that race, that's what happened. I think Barrichello was finishing last or something, so no one wrote what I wrote down. And it was kind of this, I think it was in the hospitality of Ferrari. So I won the prize. Got to meet Michael, got to meet Rubens. So it stuck with me that, and always became I was a hardcore fan.
And anything different with your helmet this weekend?
Yeah, I've changed the design using the F1 1000 logo. That looks really cool. Just a full white helmet. Nothing really from the past of Formula One, but I was not very, I used to throw all my equipment to the bins of the season. And luckily my wife pushed me to keep at least one thing from every year. I know I've got one overall per year from all my racing careers, from go-karts to 2019 season. And actually, when I look at them now, I think it's pretty cool. So, I've got some helmet back home that means more than others. My 100 Grand Prix helmet, and obviously being part of race 1000 in Formula One is going to be something big. So that helmet is going to go on the shelf, and I really like the design that we've produced, and looks pretty classy and really cool to be driven in China.
And anything different on the helmet design to celebrate 1,000 races?
No, I wanted to have open face helmet, but there was some regulation issues. So.
Okay.
Keen to know your thoughts on the Shanghai circuit and if there are any particular features or characteristics that make it especially challenging or unique.
Okay. Well, it's my first time here, so a little bit hard to say. But just coming from watching videos and seeing and being on the simulator, just seems like there's about 1,000 lines you can do here. A lot of corners leading onto other corners, so it seems like there's a lot of different styles, pushing entries or pushing exits. So yeah, there seems to be a really technical track. So it's interesting for the drivers, that's for sure.
It's quite a long circuit, long straights, very long corners like turn 1, which is quite hard when you first get here. First lap, it's always very hard to reach the apex, because it's so late in the corner that it kind of gets you. Also, the wind is very, very difficult here. So it's quite a unique place, I'll say. Normally good racing, and nice feeling on a one lap. It's definitely a circuit that I enjoy.
How do you think Formula One will look like for race 2000 in 40 or 50 years time?
It's a tough one. I've got no idea what the car's going to be like in 40, 50 years. The only thing I'll say, I hope there's still going to be a driver driving the car, because that's where emotions goes. If you put a football game with just robot, it's not going to be much fun. So I hope there's still going to be drivers. Technology will be very different, I'm sure. But I think the essence of racing has been here since 1950. It's the first F1 race where the guys were driving at their best, trying to overtake the guy in front of them and going as fast as they could with what they have. And oversteer was oversteer back then, and understeer is understeer back today. So, I think the feeling was the same. So I hope the guys are going to have as much fun as we do have today.
Checo?
I don't know how it was in the past, but these days the driver is less important. The driver can make less of a difference, and it's now all related to the team. So I think for the future and for my time that I'm here, I can see a different Formula One where the driver can make the difference instead of the team.
Yeah, it's impossible to know what will happen. I guess probably there will be racing on some sorts of racing, who knows what. But it's been now 1,000 races, so I don't think it's gonna disappear somehow suddenly. But who knows? I mean, we'll find out when it's that time.
Thank you. And Alex?
Yeah, same as them. As long as we have a job, or the future of our racing drivers have a job, then I'm happy.